Hi, I'm Bahar and you're on Rescue TV with the beautiful Erika Heynatz. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So we're here to talk about your involvement with a wonderful brand, Aveda, and you are the ambassador for the Walk for Water.
That's right.
So tell me, how did you come to even know about this great cause?
So I've been aware of Aveda as a brand. I try my very best as a consumer of, and I won't lie, a big consumer of beauty products and a lover of beauty products, to try and slowly but surely transfer over trying to use botanical or pure or trying to find products that have a greater concern for their impact upon the environment. But also I think learning that Aveda they've got a much greater concern for their impact upon the environment, but also from a humanitarian point of view, their contributions to society. So Walk for Water, it's an initiative which is all about raising awareness for the struggle that hundreds or millions of people around the world, it's a basic struggle, a struggle on a daily basis for access to clean water. I consider myself someone that's incredibly privileged on lots of levels, but when you think about a really basic human right, access to clean water is something that 900 million people around the world in developing countries.
That's a huge number.
Huge. It is staggering.
And sometimes when you hear really big numbers, I think you actually shy away from wanting to get involved because it feels like nothing that you do will make an impact.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what about the story of Walk for Water made you say, actually, what I do will make an impact and I want to be involved?
So the idea behind the walk, it is a 6-kilometre walk. We went from Bronte to Bondi and back again.
In a symbolic gesture.
It is a symbolic gesture, but people all around the world do it at the same time in different parts of the world. But it's symbolic of the distance that women will walk every day to collect water, clean water. So they have to walk 6 kilometres just to get access to the smallest amount of uncontaminated water to take back to their children. So again, I say it's, for me, that I thought I literally have access to everything that I need, but that basic human right of having access to a glass of clean water is within reach. All of that stuff is within reach for me, and knowing that there are women who have to slog that far and take it back to their families. And the worst part of it, I think, is even when they do walk that distance, often the water is contaminated, and it is the cause of such widespread disease. So
the very thing that could save them is the very thing that could hurt them.
Yeah. Definitely. So for me, that was what really struck for me. Despite their best efforts, despite going that distance and really trying to do the best for their family, it was completely out of their control. So that to me was what really drove it home. And I thought it's a really simple effort for a group of us to come together, but energetically what that can do, just raising that awareness, having that action, having that energy of walking together as a group, felt really good to me.
It is, and it was a beautiful day when we did the Walk for Water. I mean, it was like a really misty Sydney day. The dolphins came out before the walk.
I know, that's not an omen of sorts.
I know.
Because it was a bit of a greyish day, and there was a few people that said,
I don't mind overcast though. I think it's quite atmospheric and gorgeous because we do always have these sunny days in Sydney and in Australia, but I thought it was kind of symbolic of, you don't always get to do everything on a perfect sunny day, and these women who are walking 6 kilometres for, what is probably just a couple of buckets full of clean water, they don't get to do it on a perfect sunny Sydney day.
That's what I liked. I said exactly the same thing to one of the girls on the day. They said, it's a bit of a shame that it's overcast. I'm like, overcast? It could be 50 degrees in the desert. You could be carrying the water, you know what I mean? To me, it was perfect. What we had to battle against was a little bit of the elements, a little bit of a disruption.
A bit of frizzy hair.
Yeah, a bit of frizzy hair. It's hardly the worst thing that could go wrong. But I think just from an energetic point of view, that sensation of walking together was really great. And knowing, I think that it does have an impact. I think what I've discovered from that small amount, what I consider a small amount of work in what needs to be a much broader campaign, is that people did take notice. People did want to know more, and they thought that it was a really beautiful idea. That whole, big part of Earth Month is having that group consciousness, knowing that there were people all over the world taking action at the same time.
Yeah, there is something really powerful about that.
So powerful. It feels so good to be involved with.
Let me ask you something. When you do something like that, because I think it's incredibly admirable, because you're not a paid spokesperson for the brand. This is something that you're really giving your time and your heart to. What do you take away and and try to bring back to your life and to your friends and to your circle of influence from what you've learned?
I just think that it's, for me personally, I like to think that you're constantly evolving, or you're constantly changing or shifting in your awareness. And as I said, for me, it wasn't until somebody had approached me and said, would you like to be involved with this, that I stopped to think about all of those small privileges that I have that actually make for such a great and wonderful and incredibly privileged life. So to think that some small action can actually have a ripple effect, or can have, can gather in momentum and can affect people on a much broader level. Yeah. I think every little bit does count. But I think it's just more about really taking time and thinking about what small things you can do in every day, and how you can alter your lifestyle so that you are having a much smaller impact on the environment, or that you are having a much greater impact in terms of the energy that you have on other people. Just by acknowledging somebody's struggle is making a contribution. Just by saying,
I think that's really important.
I see what's going on for you, I care. By saying that and by following through with some small action, I think, I think there's real power in that. I think probably there's been a bit of a shift for me on a personal level, having been a model for a great part of my career, and I think most people assume that as you get older, you become more concerned, or you become more vain or more concerned with your appearance.
I've met a few models who do.
Yeah, and I think there has been a tendency to kind of fall into that and become a little bit consumed by it. But there's been a real shift for me, because I'm so much more aware of the impact of my actions and my words and the energy that I give out. So I think that coming on board with Aveda, but also being aware of their brand philosophy and how they really strive to make a positive impact upon lives, rather than just sort of obviously the superficial, the cosmetic appeal of things.
And they've raised millions of dollars.
They have. I think their goal for this year was 4.5 million.
Amazing.
But it's a staggering amount.
And look, you are an all-Australian, absolutely capable woman. I think you're a wonderful ambassador for this brand and this cause. And I know that our RESCU readers really connect with you. Whenever we've done a post about you, it gets so many likes and so many comments. But it's really a wonderful thing that you're doing. And we want to encourage our readers to learn more about this and see what small steps you can take to reduce your impact on the environment, and to bring, as you said, some collective good back to women and to humanity.
Definitely. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, pleasure.